Have you ever wondered what ruled America's highways before the Mustang, Camaro, or GTO became household names? Most enthusiasts believe the horsepower wars exploded during the 1960s. But the truth is far more fascinating. Long before those legendary muscle cars arrived, another generation of machines was already rewriting the rules of speed. These weren't lightweight sports cars or stripped-down racers. They were massive chrome-covered cruisers, luxurious land yachts, and elegant coupes hiding enormous V8 engines beneath their sculpted hoods. The 1950s weren't just about dazzling tail fins, sparkling chrome, and colorful paint. Behind Detroit's glamorous image, every major automaker was secretly engaged in an all-out battle. A battle fought not with advertisements or styling alone, but with horsepower. Every year, engines became bigger, compression ratios climbed higher, and engineers searched for new ways to squeeze even more speed from America's growing fleet. As the brand-new interstate highway system stretched across the nation, Americans suddenly had long, open roads where power actually mattered. Families wanted comfort, but drivers wanted excitement. Manufacturers quickly realized that if they could build the fastest production car, they could own the imagination of an entire generation. Some of these machines have become legends. Others slowly disappeared into history despite being every bit as impressive as the icons that followed. Today, many enthusiasts have never even heard their names. So before the Mustang changed everything, before the GTO earned the title of America's first true muscle car, and before the Camaro challenged the streets, let's travel back to the decade where Detroit quietly created the monsters that made all of them possible. These are 12 of the fastest American cars of the 1950s. And trust me, the car taking the #1 spot was so far ahead of its time that even many European sports cars struggled to keep up. Number 12, 1956 Packard Caribbean. At first glance, the Packard Caribbean doesn't look like a performance machine at all. It looks like pure luxury. The bold tritone paint, endless chrome trim, and elegant proportions make it appear more like a rolling work of art than something capable of serious speed. It was designed to turn heads outside luxury hotels and country clubs, not intimidate rivals at traffic lights. But appearances can be incredibly deceptive. By the mid-1950s, Packard was fighting for survival. Competition from Cadillac, Lincoln, and Chrysler had become fierce, and simply building beautiful automobiles wasn't enough anymore. Packard needed something that reminded buyers it could still compete with Detroit's best. Their answer was hidden beneath that enormous hood. Power came from a massive 374 cubic inch V8, producing an impressive 310 horsepower. For a luxury automobile in 1956, that figure bordered on unbelievable. Most premium cars of the period focused almost entirely on comfort and smoothness, but the Caribbean offered both elegance and genuine performance. Despite weighing well over 2 tons, this luxurious cruiser could reach nearly 120 miles per hour. That placed it among America's fastest production cars during an era when many family sedans struggled to approach 90. What makes the Caribbean fascinating isn't just its numbers. It's the experience. Imagine gliding effortlessly down a newly opened interstate highway, surrounded by silence inside a beautifully crafted cabin while more than 300 horsepower waits beneath your right foot. The acceleration wasn't violent like later muscle cars, but smooth, relentless, and incredibly confident. It wasn't built to attack corners. It was built to dominate endless American highways. Today, the Caribbean is often remembered for its stunning styling, but many enthusiasts forget that it was also one of the quickest luxury cars money could buy. Number 11, 1957 Oldsmobile Super 88 J2. Mention Oldsmobile today, and many people picture comfortable family sedans driven by retirees. But in the late 1950s, Oldsmobile was one of the biggest performance innovators in America. Years before muscle cars became fashionable, Oldsmobile shocked Detroit with its legendary Rocket V8, proving that powerful engines could be installed in everyday production cars. That single decision helped ignite the horsepower race that would soon consume the entire American auto industry. Then came the J2 package, and suddenly everything changed. On the outside, the Super 88 still looked like a traditional American sedan. It featured generous chrome, a spacious interior, and the long, graceful body that defined the decade. Nothing about its appearance suggested it could embarrass far more expensive competitors. The real magic lived underneath. Its 371 cubic inch rocket V8 became something truly special when equipped with the optional J2 package. 3 two-barrel carburetors transformed the engine, increasing output to approximately 300 horsepower and dramatically improving throttle response. That combination created one of the quickest full-size American cars of its time. What's remarkable is how closely this formula resembles the muscle car recipe that Pontiac would perfect nearly a decade later with the GTO. Take a regular production car, install an oversized high-performance V8, keep the price relatively affordable. The result? An everyday automobile capable of shocking almost anything beside it. Oldsmobile was already doing exactly that in 1957. With a top speed approaching 120 miles per hour, the Super 88 J2 proved that genuine performance didn't require exotic engineering or expensive European badges. Sometimes all it took was a massive American V8 and the courage to let it breathe. Number 10. 1957 Pontiac Bonneville Fuel Injection. The 1957 Pontiac Bonneville wasn't simply another luxury convertible. It represented something much bigger. It was Pontiac's declaration that the company intended to compete with America's performance elite. Its sweeping body lines, elegant proportions, and brilliant chrome gave it the appearance of a sophisticated boulevard cruiser. It looked expensive, exclusive, and refined. But hidden beneath its stylish exterior was one of the most advanced powertrains available anywhere in America. Instead of relying on a conventional carburetor like nearly every other manufacturer, Pontiac introduced Rochester mechanical fuel injection. That decision was incredibly bold. Fuel injection remained expensive, complicated, and unfamiliar to most buyers. Number 9. 1956 Studebaker Golden Hawk. Sometimes greatness doesn't come from having the biggest budget. Sometimes it comes from making the smartest decision. That perfectly describes the 1956 Studebaker Golden Hawk. Unlike Detroit's Big Three, Studebaker simply didn't have endless resources to develop an all-new high-performance V8. Most companies would have accepted defeat. Studebaker refused. Instead, they looked outside their own garage and borrowed one of the best engines available, the mighty Packard 352 cubic inch V8. That single decision transformed an already beautiful coupe into one of America's biggest performance surprises. Even today, the Golden Hawk looks unlike anything else from the era. Its sleek fastback roofline, compact proportions, dramatic tail fins, and low stance gave it a personality all its own. Some buyers thought it looked futuristic, while others considered it unconventional. Either way, nobody confused it with anything else on the road. Because the Golden Hawk carried a relatively lightweight body compared to most full-size American cars, its 275 horsepower Packard V8 had far less weight to move. The result was explosive acceleration that caught many larger competitors completely off guard. On long stretches of open highway, the Golden Hawk could push beyond 125 miles per hour, performance that rivaled far more expensive luxury machines. It's one of those forgotten classics that proves badges don't always tell the whole story. Sometimes the underdog ends up outrunning everyone. Number 8. 1959 Chevrolet Impala 348 Tri-Power. Few cars capture the spirit of late 1950s America better than the 1959 Chevrolet Impala. This wasn't just transportation. It was the soundtrack of an entire generation. Picture neon-lit diners, drive-in theaters packed with teenagers, rock and roll blasting from the radio, and a gleaming Impala rolling slowly beneath city lights. Its dramatic batwing tail fins, wide stance, and endless chrome instantly made it one of the most recognizable American cars ever built. But behind that glamorous appearance, Chevrolet had a completely different mission. They wanted speed, real speed, The weapon of choice was Chevrolet's brand new 348 cubic inch W Series V8. When paired with the legendary tri-power setup, 3 two-barrel carburetors, it unleashed up to 315 horsepower. That may not sound extraordinary today, but in 1959, it was enough to transform a comfortable family cruiser into a genuine highway predator. The massive torque made passing effortless, while the engine delivered smooth but relentless acceleration all the way toward its impressive top speed of around 130 miles per hour. Perhaps even more important, the 348 laid the foundation for the legendary big block Chevrolet engines that would dominate the muscle car era just a few years later. The Impala wasn't merely fast. It was Chevrolet quietly preparing for the horsepower revolution. Number 7. 1957 Chevrolet Corvette fuel injection. Believe it or not, there was a time when the Corvette almost disappeared forever. When Chevrolet introduced America's first fiberglass sports car in 1953, it certainly looked exciting. Unfortunately, it wasn't. Its modest six-cylinder engine simply couldn't compete with Europe's growing fleet of agile sports cars. Beautiful styling alone wasn't enough to guarantee survival. Chevrolet knew something drastic had to happen. Then came 1957, and everything changed. Engineers introduced a new 283 cubic inch small block V8 equipped with Rochester mechanical fuel injection, a technology so advanced that very few production cars anywhere in the world could match it. The numbers were historic. Exactly 283 horsepower from exactly 283 cubic inches. 1 horsepower per cubic inch. Today, that achievement may sound ordinary, but back then it became one of the greatest engineering milestones in American automotive history. The Corvette finally possessed performance worthy of its stunning appearance. Combined with its lightweight fiberglass body, responsive handling, and compact dimensions, the Corvette became capable of approximately 132 miles per hour. For the first time, America had a true sports car capable of standing proudly beside Europe's finest. Without this Corvette, there might never have been a Stingray, or a ZR1, or the world-class Corvette we know today. Number 6. 1957 Ford Thunderbird F-Code. If the Corvette represented youthful rebellion, the Thunderbird represented effortless confidence. Everything about Ford's personal luxury car radiated sophistication. Its beautifully sculpted body, removable hardtop, elegant porthole windows, and refined proportions made it feel more like a gentleman's grand tourer than an aggressive performance machine. But Ford had one final surprise waiting. Hidden beneath that polished exterior was one tiny letter, F. Among collectors, the F-code designation has become legendary because it signified something almost unheard of during the 1950s. Factory supercharging. While most manufacturers continued chasing horsepower with larger carburetors and bigger displacement, Ford installed a Paxton McCulloch supercharger onto its 312 cubic inch V8. The result? Around 300 horsepower delivered, with remarkable smoothness and a surge of acceleration few luxury cars could match. The Thunderbird no longer cruised. It charged. Capable of exceeding 132 miles per hour, the F-code transformed an already desirable personal luxury car into one of the quickest production automobiles America had ever produced. Today, authentic F-code Thunderbirds remain among the rarest and most valuable first-generation T-Birds in existence. Not simply because they're beautiful, but because they proved luxury and serious performance could coexist. Number 5. 1956 DeSoto Adventurer. If there was one American car that perfectly blended outrageous luxury with brute force performance, it was the DeSoto Adventurer. Styled under Virgil Exner's revolutionary forward-look philosophy, the Adventurer looked like nothing else on the road. Gold trim, sweeping chrome, dramatic color combinations, and bold proportions made it impossible to ignore. It looked expensive, it looked exclusive, and it looked fast. Thankfully, it actually was. Beneath its glamorous exterior sat Chrysler's legendary 341 cubic inch Hemi V8, producing an astonishing 320 horsepower. During the mid-1950s, Crossing the 300 horsepower barrier placed the production car in an incredibly exclusive club. By the late 1950s, an incredible 375 horsepower being seen. It represented the absolute peak. They wanted something far more exciting. While many European manufacturers searched for speed, fastest machines, lightweight construction, and aerodynamic that machine was the D500. Chrysler embraced, unlike some of its more luxurious Chrysler cousins, bigger displacement. The D500 more torque didn't rely on elegance. The result was breathtaking. Yes. With a top speed approaching 145 miles per hour, the Chrysler 300C became the fastest production American automobile of its era. It looked aggressive. It wasn't simply quicker than like it had been engineered with one. It challenged some of the finest performance machines anywhere to outrun anything more foolish enough to line up. The 300C proved, but the real story wasn't extraordinary performance. It was written could exist together. The D500 package wasn't a cosmetic upgrade influence or a marketing gimmick throughout the following decade. It was a factory-built performance inspiring generations of high-performance by Dodge's racing ambitions. Even today, engineers collectors consider it one of the greatest Red Ram touring cars Detroit featuring higher compression. And after nearly camshaft improvements, that reputation remains fully deserved. Depending on configuration, the 1950s are often remembered as the decade of chrome, with racing versions producing jukeboxes. And those numbers transformed the D, but beneath 500 into one of America's far more important was full-size sedans. Detroit was its acceleration, the foundation, drivers muscle car revolution. Nothing more. Every one of these machines family pushed engineering. Suddenly, Dodge, bigger engines replaced dependable transportation. Horsepower building machines to levels capable of dominating long fuel injection, superchargers, with top speeds approaching 135 miles per hour. Tri-power carburetors, the D500 and revolutionary performance wasn't reserved all appeared years before the Mustang. It could come wrapped in a full-size American sedan, ever reach the streets. And that's exactly without these forgotten pioneers. Number the golden age of American 1958 might never have Fury, Golden Commander. Some became legends. Some cars others faded into history. The Plymouth but every one of them helped write the first chapter of America's horsepower story. It's dramatic. Now we'd love to hear from you. Which of these incredible machines, gleaming gold crown, and unmistakable stance car perfectly captured everything Americans loved? Would you choose the unstoppable Chrysler 300C? It looked futuristic, revolutionary Corvette, almost stylish Fury. And that perhaps one of the forgotten underdogs that surprised everyone. Unlike luxury leave your choice in the comments for executives. We read business every single one. The Fury appealed to producing an incredible 375 horsepower. It represented the absolute peak of Detroit engineering. While many European manufacturers searched for speed through lightweight construction and aerodynamic efficiency, Chrysler embraced raw American philosophy. Bigger displacement, more torque, more horsepower. The result was breathtaking. With a top speed approaching 145 miles per hour, the Chrysler 300C became the fastest production American automobile of its era. It wasn't simply quicker than its domestic rivals. It challenged some of the finest performance machines anywhere in the world. More importantly, the 300C proved that luxury and extraordinary performance could exist together in one complete package. Its influence echoed throughout the following decade, inspiring generations of high-performance American automobiles. Even today, collectors consider it one of the greatest grand touring cars Detroit has ever produced. And after nearly 70 years, that reputation remains fully deserved. Conclusion: the 1950s are often remembered as the decade of chrome, tail fins, jukeboxes, and colorful optimism. But beneath all that glamour, something far more important was happening. Detroit was quietly laying the foundation for the muscle car revolution. Every one of these machines pushed engineering a little further. Bigger engines replaced smaller ones. Horsepower climbed to levels once thought impossible. Fuel injection, superchargers, Hemi V8s, tri-power carburetors, and revolutionary performance packages all appeared years before the Mustang, Camaro, or Charger ever reached the streets. Without these forgotten pioneers, the golden age of American muscle cars might never have happened. Some became legends, others faded into history, but every one of them helped write the first chapter of America's horsepower story. Now we'd love to hear from you. Which of these incredible machines deserves the crown as the greatest performance car of the 1950s? Would you choose the unstoppable Chrysler 300C, the revolutionary Corvette, the stylish Fury, or perhaps one of the forgotten underdogs that surprised everyone? Leave your choice in the comments below. We read every single one. And if you enjoyed this journey through automotive history, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications because every week we uncover more forgotten legends, rare classics, and incredible stories from the golden age of automobiles. Until next time, keep the history alive, keep your passion for classic cars burning, and we'll see you in the next adventure.